Here we go. I guess maybe we're live. Good. But I can see that it is the absolute fucking worst. I'm about to flip my entire desk over. I don't think I even can, like, physically. Yeah, plus it's up against the wall. It's in the corner. Yeah. This is a joke. This is terrible. So fuck it. Let's just talk about this stupid sonnet. Sonnet number 4. I haven't read it yet. Only thing I know about it is that it's one of the procreation sonnets. So I assume it's gonna be about knocking somebody up or getting knocked up. Have you read it yet? So good. We are gonna need them. I have the Arden sonnets. Then it's not the complete works, is it? I'm not gonna do that. You can do it. I'll help you address the envelope. So who's gonna cold read this? You or me? I also hate it, so it could be either of us. I would listen. I was gonna suggest it, but I'm pretty sure that the internet cannot handle a rock paper scissors situation. Pull. So it doesn't look like we're jerking off. Well, that's no fun, but I agree. Let's do that. And then, but here's the caveat: we're both gonna have to just hold it up there for like 27 seconds, so that I can see the sign, the rock paper or scissor. Yeah, Discord's fine. Well, no, Discord is not fine. Discord is at least 3 seconds behind reality. But plug that into OBS and it becomes about 7 seconds behind reality. Yeah. I'm lagging. On shoot. I have to just move really slowly. Yeah. Are we? Okay. I basically have to trust you because you're calling it verbally before I see the sign at all. Would you? I would. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna take notes as you read. So I get my handy dandy highlighter. Well, but here's the thing: don't read because like it's a cold reading and it's a fucking poem. So like who cares how it sounds? Just read the words. Ew. It was not as bad as you think, honestly. I'm drinking Kirkland sparkling water, lemon flavor. I also have a bottle of wine that I should be having. Oh, fuck yeah. uh. And now, yeah, and so as you were just reading words, I got a chance to think. And those first two lines are nasty. So I don't know. I don't know if it's meant to be read as like to spend or but that's how I heard it. So to finish upon thyself. Yeah, so unthrifty. Do you have unthrifty or thrifty in your... It is not. Wasteful. That okay, yeah, that makes sense. Wasteful. I like wasteful. So so you're so pretty. Why are you keeping that to yourself? But at the same time, I feel like there's a hidden masturbation joke. Yeah, wasteful chastity. Chastity? Uh, yeah. Why are you not in the? What did you say? The height of your hotness. So like, yeah. Why are you not already having babies? So we've, but it lends, so it will take it back. So the thing that's like tripping me up about this particular line is the like she lends to those are free. Feel like there's something missing. So I think beauty, because that's what Shakespeare's always talking about in these things, youth and beauty, gives nothing but doth lend. So nature's giving you youth and beauty temporarily. And because nature is honest, she lends to those who are who are making babies, I guess. But free. But what do you think? Open or honest? This Arden says generous. I like generous, yeah. So nature doesn't give you youth and beauty. Nature lets you borrow youth and beauty generously if you are willing, I guess. Yeah, so free is generous, open-handed with some connotations of nobility. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because she is this way, she likes to share with other people who are also that way. Like how relevant it is in the whole of the piece, or yeah. That's the interesting thing about sonnets is that sometimes you do come across like lines or pairs of lines, and you're just like, you just needed to fill up space, I think. Yeah. That's our first, what do you call it? Cool. What's the word for the group of 4 lines? Collium stanzos? Nay. I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. It's qua something. Quad. Whatever. Where's Curtis when you need him? Yeah. Also, so that he can stream the 70/30 stuff. Because I think I'll be able to participate much more fully if he's the one streaming us. So. Are you watching the stream? Is it? Yeah. Whatevs. Yeah. I guess I should keep talking, though, while you're checking the audio. The next, the next group of 4 lines begins with, then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largess given thee to give? Largess. I'm interested if you have something about largess. Whoa, 7. Yes, I would like an actual definition, though, of the word. Is it like a plot of land? Is it like, what actually is a largess? Ooh. How do I get that? I wonder if I have to do this. I wonder if it will through the mic. I don't know. Speak.
Well,
Speak the speech.
Can you hear me now?
Can I hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can hear me through your computer speakers now. It sounds like you've got me on speakerphone now.
But
so that's better than not hearing me at all.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
This is
cool.
a mess.
So now I'm going to mute the stream again because it's getting really confusing because I'm hearing both of us.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
That's so weird. I wonder if there's a setting that I'm.
Remember when we were like doing the when we tried that podcast a while back, I had to do a bunch of weird things to.
Yeah.
That was in Audacity to record it, but it doesn't matter. 'Tis neither here nor there. And I think we should like let chat know. Niggard is, it just means like hateful person, right?
Yeah, a miser or
I've got the word skinflint, which I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
That sounds bizarre. But yeah, I want to know what a largesse is, because a lot of times when Shakespeare is talking about beauty and how it needs to be prolonged and preserved, he talks about it as though it were a plot of land or.
Well, yeah, I think we already have this idea of bequeathing, right? Like he said earlier.
I just honestly
Um,
don't know what the word means. I've never
the
encountered it before.
largest, a largest is. I'll look in the. First, I'll look in the Lex for you while I tell you. I believe it means, like, I think about, like, you have a largest, and it's kind of like that's like what your dowry is, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, a dowry
I
would
think
be a
I've
largest,
I think I've heard it
like
in
a
that context before.
like a collection of wealth or something. Kind of is what I'm thinking to see. Largest, donation, present, a bounty bestowed.
Okay, so nothing specific.
Yeah. Unchanged in the plural. Um, our coffers with too great a court and liberal are grown somewhat light. Rate your office. Sent, largest sent forth to your great offices. Okay, yeah. I'm just like looking at examples. Um, it occurs in Sonnet 4, Sonnet 6, Taming the Shrew, Henry V, Richard II, and Macbeth.
Wow. Oh,
Uh,
shrew must
yeah.
be where I've heard it before.
Well, and Macbeth, because Banquo tells Macbeth when it's like when they're in the castle, and Banquo can't sleep. Macbeth comes out and he's like, "Hey, Duncan's been has been in great mood lately, and he has sent forth great largesse unto your office, I
Mm,
believe." And so it's like Duncan gave him some sort of gift, right? Either probably of gold or land or title or something like.
yeah,
So Duncan's been spoiling Macbeth when Banquo tells him that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Uh, yeah. He has honored me of late. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh. Okay, so then, beauteous Nigard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largesse given thee to give? So this is the most valuable thing that you have. Why are you being an asshole and saving it for yourself, basically?
right. And like the idea of it was given to you to give,
Yeah.
right?
To give, yeah. So why are you
Why,
stingy?
you beautiful bitch,
You beautiful bitch.
do you abuse? Like that word abuse. Why do you waste, disregard the bounteous largest, the incredible gift given to you to give away, right? Like,
Here's a question. Uh, at this point, what do you think of the audience? Who do you think this was written for?
well, it's either like the lady or the lord, right? Isn't that the way it works? This definitely seems like it's written to a woman. This doesn't seem like it's written to like a young man. Um, this is like incel sonnet,
All
right?
of these
Like,
are. All, like, all of them. Hang on, let's look at Sonnet 3. Like, no, maybe it's 1. Do I have Sonnet 1 in here? I don't know. But like all of them have the same. This is Sonnet 1, but they all have the same like. You are. You're good. Niggarding. Shakespeare loves that word when he's talking about not having sex. And then it's always like you're gonna die alone, like Jesus,
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
That's very incel, man. Like super incel.
Like it's like when you get a message on a dating app from a dude and you're like, no thank you, and then he's like, fuck you, you're ugly anyway. I don't know.
Right.
At least
Yeah,
Shakespeare's not there yet. Maybe by sonnet like 12 or something.
Right. He was. Yeah. I wonder how he acted in real life, but at least like here he's channeling all these like. It's like Shakespeare didn't have Reddit, right? So he wrote 159 sonnets.
Oh, can you imagine? You know what? I think this is a another like short film we need to work on. Is Shakespeare on Reddit.
Oh man.
Can you imagine the things he would get into?
Oh man, he would. Yeah, well, I need time to workshop some of this.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me make a note so that we can actually make this happen.
Oh, also, I just realized on stream there will be no recording of my awful cold read of this poem.
That's true. Would you like to give it another go?
No. I want to keep breaking it down. That's not fair. It's not fair because my first, like 6 lines would be on point.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't be on point. They would have a rough shape.
they would be moderately filed.
Yeah,
certainly,
like, it's
certainly no point though.
Yeah. But no, let's keep going. Like, man, beauteous, niggard, like, and then like profitless usurer.
Profitless usurer.
Yeah.
Man, Shakespeare's onto
like,
something with this. This is one of the things I love about Shakespeare is that he would just make up words. Usurer.
Well, usurer, he calls, I believe, Shylock gets called a usurer a lot.
Interesting. I bet he probably uses. I bet it was a pretty common word. But I just like the fact that he's got the word use, but in 2 different formats.
Usurious.
Usurious? Usering? Usurer? Userize? Usurization.
Usury. Yeah, like usury. Oh yeah, usurer. One who lends money and takes interest for it, which was thought disreputable at any rate in the poet's time.
So this is a profitless moneylender.
No. One who takes interest.
Oh.
Yeah.
But still profitless.
Which was.
If you're taking interest and you're not making a profit, then.
No, that's how you get the profit, is from the interest. One who lends money
right.
and gets interest back.
But he's got the word profitless. So it's a person whose job it is to make a profit by charging interest, and they're not making a profit.
Yeah. Why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live?
Okay, so this makes me think largesse up here may be referring to just money.
No, I think it's continuing the metaphor of
Well, yes, but the metaphor is, instead of in previous sonnets, the metaphor has been plowing a field, uh, and that kind of thing. This, I think, the metaphor is more monetary.
well, yeah. He started it. He started the metaphor monetary by
Spend.
saying nature's bequeathment,
So yeah, we've
right?
got spend, like spend money. Yeah, we've got a bequest. We've got largesse, usurer, sum, and sums.
Sum of thumbs, yeah. Um,
So, profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? What does that mean? How do I rewrite that?
live is interesting. Will you see what the Arden says about live?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Live, make a living.
Okay, so profitless usurer. So which would be saying,
Mm. So
it's
maybe he is making, maybe they are making interest, like charging interest and making money, but they spend and spend and spend and spend and spend that they can't feed themselves. So
no.
so then
I think it's
the metaphor would be like, why are you so selfish, 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 saving all your beauty for yourself that
yeah, like
live you can't carry on your name because you're not.
well that might be a nice double meaning because it's sticking the same because he's if we go back to like line 5 and 6. Why dost thou abuse the beauteous largest given thee to give? Why aren't you giving it away? Profitless usurer. Why dost thou use so great a sum of sums yet canst not live? And that's saying that you've got all this money. A profitless usurer is like you have the potential to be a usurer because you have all of this, capital, so to
Yeah.
speak. The capital being the beauty, yet you're not spending it, or you're not lending it. You could be having profitless usurer. Why dost thou use so great a sum of sums? Like you have all this beauty, yet you're not earning anything off of it because maybe because a woman in Shakespeare's time, you know, probably wouldn't have her own wealth and would rely on a husband's wealth, right? Um, you can't make a living on your beauty if you're not getting married to someone rich
Yeah.
or getting married to someone, right?
And then you can have beautiful children who will plow the fields and support you through your 30s.
Right. And
For
what do
having.
you have written down for this right now? Do we have it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Then, sexy a-hole, why are you stingy with your beauty? It's for you to give. You're broke. Why do you spend so much that you can't make a living? That's the second group of
I would,
four.
instead of saying what do you spend, I mean it's like hoarding, right? I think it's. I don't think it's an idea of spending, because he.
I
Well,
don't.
I mean,
I don't know. It could go either way, because use just means to use. It could be to spend. It could be to hoard. It could be to shit on. Could be to swallow. You're just using.
yeah.
And there's really no hints in the Arden about what it's supposed to be.
So let's see. The first definition of use is to make use of, to employ. But that says Sonnet 21 and 3, Sonnet 4. Oh no, that's 21 line 3. To practice customarily, to make a practice of.
You know, the more I read this, the more I think it was written for a man. I'm nearly convinced. Um
Here we go. I found the definition that the Lex gives us specifically for this use of the word use.
Okay.
To have, possess, occupy, or enjoy for a time.
Okay.
That is the 5th definition, by the way.
So, yeah, no, I'm convinced this was written for a dude. 100%. Without a doubt. I'd stake my PhD candidacy on it.
Okay.
I'm not in grad school, so it's fine. I can fail. But let's just look at lines 9 and 10 real quick. For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Oh, that is a good line. Thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Ooh! Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh. I like that line.
That is a good one. So,
I'm just gonna highlight all those alliterations.
well, they're like repetition.
No. It's alliteration. Thou, thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive.
Oh, yeah. The dost deceive, sweet self. Yeah.
Thou, thyself, and thy. Yeah.
Thyself, thou, thyself, thy.
That's just a beautiful line. I like to imagine Shakespeare when he wrote that line, like the whole sonnet. Probably he spent a couple days, just getting the bones of it, and then as he went through for an edit, he was like, "Oh man, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive." Oh yeah, and then he immediately had an erection and went and spent upon himself. This is the image of Shakespeare in my head after he wrote that line.
So, for having traffic with thyself alone, so for doing business with all by yourself.
Wanking.
You of yourself, your sweet self, your best self. What does the Arden say to us about sweet self?
Sweet self. Probably not anything. It only says traffic. It says trade, negotiation, sexual commerce. And then if the emphasis is placed on of, this means you trick yourself out of possession of the sweetest, most intimate part of yourself. But that's if you emphasize of. Thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Versus thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. So if you read it one way, it means that. The other way is very accusatory.
Yeah. But that's the way it scans. Thou of thyself,
Yeah.
thy sweet self dost deceive.
Yeah.
So.
So for having traffic with thyself alone, when you only do business with yourself, and do business can mean many things.
Yeah, I still look at it the same way I've looked at the whole thing, which is keeping yourself to yourself instead of sharing yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking at the whole thing as a money metaphor now.
Yeah.
Especially since coming up we've got the word audit.
Well, yeah. I feel like he's put this money imagery the whole time.
Yeah.
Spend, bequeath, lend, free, boisterous, bounteous, largest, to give, profitless usurer, so great a sum of use, sum of sums, live, like a living, traffic would be commerce, thy sweet self does deceive. So by only doing business with yourself, you're not getting to know your most intimate self.
Yeah.
Then how, when nature calls thee to be
is it
gone?
hang on. That you're not getting to know your most intimate self, or I feel like knowledge isn't what we're going after. I feel like deceive is like cheating more than like lying.
Yeah, you're cheating yourself out of your...
Yeah, I'd say you're like you're robbing yourself. Like,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Go on then. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Then how, when you die?
Yeah, so... Oh, also, I'm echoing so bad in myself. That's considerably better. But yeah, so how, when nature calls thee gone, like when you're dead, what audit, reckoning, records canst thou leave?
Do you have something for audit?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what an audit is, but...
Account, reckoning, especially in the face of God.
Because I find the word leave to be an interesting word. Because an audit isn't something usually that you leave behind. An audit is something that happens to you. Or if you're a...
No, when you get audited, that's just asking you to account for your actions.
Right, but at what point in the history of English have we said, yes, the IRS is coming to leave me an audit?
That's a good point. Shall we see what the Lex has to say about it?
I'm gonna check the Ardennes.
Audit says final account. The example in the Lex is when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave?
apparently in the Quarto, audit is capitalized and italicized.
Because like my note from the Shakespeare glossary on the app said, it emphasized to God, right? Like, so like listen to the rest of these examples of audit.
Give them to me. Lay them down.
This is from another sonnet. When as thy love hath cast his utmost sum, called to that audit by advised respects. From Hamlet says, and how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven. Posthumus says in Cymbeline, if you will take this audit, take this life.
Interesting. That's another rabbit hole for me to go down later. I was gonna, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but the word fond, as it stands now, is to like enjoy or to like something. But its use in Sonnet 3, fond meant foolish.
Really?
So I really would like to know when and how it went from foolishness to something that we like. So now I'm going to have to look at audit as well. Just because it's still, it seems to have always meant generally the same thing. But it seemed like there was a more liberal use of it previously. So in this case, what acceptable audit canst thou leave, I guess, is an audit. You said something about a complete, complete or empty or something.
Complete, like a complete account?
Yeah. So what acceptable complete account can you leave might make more sense than our current understanding of the word audit.
Also, would you like to hear a little bit about fond?
Yeah.
So fond is to dote.
So it's a verb as well.
Yeah, it's the verb to dote. There's also an adjective.
The adjective I'm familiar with.
Right.
I'd never heard it used as a verb.
There is fondling, darling. Then there is fondly, which means foolishly, or in a trifling, nugatory manner. But then there's fondness, which is also love. So fondly fondly means foolishly. Was it the word fond, or was it the word fondly in Sonnet 3?
The word was fond.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, back to Sonnet 4.
Back to the work. Okay, so I think if we just generically say, then how, when you die, like, what can you leave? What account can you leave?
Yeah, and that's saying you're not going to have any kids, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, kids would be nature's account that you survived, that you, like, ever existed.
Exactly.
Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee, which used lives the executor to be.
So, your beauty dies with you if you don't have kids, but if you do have kids, they maintain your your accounts, your family line.
Well, I believe it's saying if your beauty must be tombed with thee, which means if you do use that beauty and have kids, lives the executor to be, means that your kids will be beautiful, right? You can pass to the executor of your will, right?
Right.
Which would be your kid, so that they would have your beauty, and thus continue the cycle of nature's bequeathing of beauty.
Right. So you'll either your uh, your beauty dies with you, or you have kids and it carries on, and so do your accounts carry on, and if we're talking about money,
Right.
so either beauty dies with you, or you have babies and it don't. Are you convinced to start popping out children now?
Me?
Yep. Has Shakespeare convinced you?
The world does deserve more of this. Right. I am not convinced yet. No.
Well, the good news is Shakespeare wrote a buttload more of these procreation sonnets. So maybe by the end we'll be convinced.
How many procreation sonnets are there?
I don't actually know. I feel like it's at least 20, but let me Google.
Has that been the common theme through these first four?
Oh yeah. 1 through 17 are the procreation sonnets. Yeah, and they're, well, you want me to read the others? They'll blow your mind.
Let's go.
So this is number 1. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decrease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feed'st thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee.
So, that seems like basically the exact same, like, that's the exact same idea. He's just using, like, the nature metaphor, right? Like, instead of the money metaphor. That's literally the exact same idea.
Yeah. So I kind of like Sonnet 3 though, because the audience is different. So Sonnet 3 is, look in thy glass and tell the face thou viewest. Now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unbless some mother. For where is she so fair, whose uneared womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou, through windows of thine age, shalt see, despite of wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live remembered not to be, die single, and thine image dies with thee. That one,
How could you?
What?
You think? Do you do you think that Shakespeare is trying to encourage a man to procreate instead of trying to encourage a woman to procreate with him?
So, yes. So, I think that one, I think 3 was not to any, like, one particular person. I think, to me, it reads like, you know that episode of 30 Rock where Jack is, like, psyching himself up in the mirror and, like, his mic is on and everyone hears him? Do you remember that episode?
Yeah.
This is why I imagine that is happening in Sonnet 3. It's just some dude, like, about to go, like, I don't know, maybe it's like wedding night jitters. Oh, I have to knock up my girl now. Or a woman who's like, oh, I have to go get knocked up now. I'm so scared. And he's telling them, like, just, like, it's good. It's a good thing. Like, just, like, here's a reason why it's gonna be okay. As opposed to this one seems more targeted. Sonnet 4 seems more targeted to, like, an individual with whom he might have some sort of personal connection.
See, I haven't broken down one the same way that you have, but like, man, it really just seems like the exact same. Like, if you don't have kids, that's real selfish.
Yeah.
And like, this idea of like hoarding it and keeping it to yourself that we've been seeing in 4, because you know it's like the idea of 1 is like you're eventually going to wither, right? Like, and eventually die. But procreating keeps that beauty and keeps like young stuff in there.
Yeah.
But like 4 is like you're hoarding this and not using it, and if you don't use it, and when you die, it just dies with you.
Yeah, it's saying
like,
the same thing in a different way. It's like Shakespeare was like, okay, so the farming metaphor didn't work. How can I put this in language you'll understand? We'll use a money metaphor this time, and just say the same thing in a completely different metaphor. But yeah, it's like the same message.
Yeah. It has not convinced me to procreate.
Same.
So, can I, I'll take a shot at reading it again.
Yeah. Do we want to scan it at all? Or do you want to just jump in to the second read?
No, okay. I'll go through Scansion one time.
Okay.
Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing but doth lend, and being frank she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largess given thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou, what acceptable audit canst thou leave?
Oof.
What acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee. which used lives the executor to be. Which used lives the executor to be. Okay.
So
I mean,
I have some interesting punctuation. Used should be used here, I think, because we've got the executor. Like, why else would it be written the executor?
See, and mine also has unused and tombed with apostrophe D. Which
Yeah, I have unused and tombed, like no apostrophes, and then used, no apostrophe, and then the executor. The executor.
But thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee scans perfectly.
Right. Which used lives the executor to be.
Well, and that's what I think that should be, yeah. Which used lives the executor to be. That, I think that is my preference.
So
because
weird.
Otherwise, why would he elid the right?
Yeah, that's
which used lives the executor to be, and that just stands so much better.
Yeah.
So.
So I noted nature's bequest. That's a trochee.
Nature's bequest.
Because you're not gonna say nature's bequest. Nature's bequest.
Nature's bequest.
And being frank. I think you could read as a trochee if you wanted. And being frank, you could emphasize and, which is a strategy to use, and is one of those words that like
yet or but.
Yeah, kind of
yeah.
a little gift. And then same with then. You could, I don't know that I would, but maybe. Then beauteous niggard. And then profitless. That one didn't. Profitless. That's
profitless usurer, why dost thou use?
Profitless usurer, why dost thou use? Profitless usurer, why? What? Profitless usurer.
Profitless usurer. Profitless.
Yeah.
Usurer.
Profitless user. Like, neither of those words scan the way the textbooks tell us they should. Profitless usurer. And then what acceptable?
I don't know. When you say it with like a straightforward scansion, it makes it feel really. It makes it feel really like a pointed insult. Prophet.
But like that's not the way the word is pronounced, though. I think it's
usurer, prophet. Yeah, but it's not prophetless, right?
Yeah. So, and I think the fact that it's a swapped emphasis is what makes it that much more emphatic and that much more pointed. The fact that it breaks from the fact that it starts with a plosive and an emphasized one. That's a word that stabs you in the heart. Profitless.
And also just like profitless usurer. Like those, that's not easy. It's like
Yeah.
it's like it's very like muddy and profitless usurer. It's very almost guttural,
Yeah.
right?
It's like some Urukai shit.
Yeah.
Profitless usurer.
Right, exactly. Like that. Oh yeah, like Klingon. Like that would be a
Yeah.
Klingon insult, right?
Profitless user. You know what? That's my new insult. Yeah, profitless usurer.
That's like this being a waste of space, right?
It absolutely is.
Profitless usurer.
Profitless usurer. God. You know who's a profitless usurer? A whole bunch of people that I'm not going to mention on a live stream.
Thanks for that. Also, like, so, can we take a quick timeout from the Sonnet real fast? I want to talk to you about a video game that Caleb and I want to play and stream, and it's called Artemis Starship Bridge Simulator. And it takes 6 people. It takes 6 people, right? And you have a science officer, an engineer,
No.
Yes, you have a tactics / weapons officer, a communications officer, a helmsman, and a captain. And here's the cool thing. The 5 people outside the captain, they can only see their console and their controls, and the captain has access to none of it and can only give commands. So the captain has to be like, what's the scan? The science officer scans it and says, here are the readings. Like, the captain says, open hailing frequencies. Are there any communications? Like, only the communications officer gets to see the information.
Oh my god.
It is so fucking cool, man.
I am all about this. Like, sign me up as your commo officer. Like, what console do I need to buy?
It's PC and also phone.
Oh, if I can play on my phone, then we good. I ain't buying a PC though.
See, but yeah, I think we should figure out a way to stream this, because that would be so fucking cool. I'll send you the link to like a video that is like the launch party playing.
Please send me info.
Also, I've decided, so for my bachelor party, which is likely to be next year, what I'm going to do is we're all going to buy Star Trek uniforms.
I already have one.
We have to wear them for the whole like weekend or whatever. And I'm the captain, and I've assigned everybody bridge officer positions. You are of course chief of security.
Why?
Because you're my wharf in my heart.
Do I get to wear the bandolier?
Do you want to wear a Klingon bandolier?
And full makeup.
I was gonna say let's make you some fucking head ridges.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
But I've already of the people that you know, Caleb is the first officer, right? As best man.
Obviously.
He's number 1. He will be the one to make it so. Andy is chief engineering officer.
Okay.
Curtis is navigation.
I like that. Is he the
DD? What?
Is he the DD?
Yeah, he will probably be the DD, but yeah, we'll have him on navigation. Your security. Jimmy is the physician, medical officer, which means that he's the only one that can give me a command. And my friend Kinnan, I don't know if you ever met Kinnan.
It's a familiar name.
Yeah, he's going to be our ship's counselor. So, I'm really excited about it. And also, my bachelor party may just be going to the next Gen National Convention.
What? Where's that?
Las Vegas.
We're gonna be some nerdy ass people in Vegas.
Yeah, but we're not just nerdy. We're also cool.
Sometimes we are in a podcast or in a not a podcast. What do you call this? A live stream about Shakespeare right now.
Yeah, we are.
To some, that is cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna read. I don't know if anybody's like been in chat
There's
and
no
not said
there's no
anything.
chats, but apparently we have 3 viewers. One
Oh,
of them might be me.
one of them's me.
We have a viewer. Is it John?
Sweet.
It could be John.
Oh, I hope it is. I hope the audio's at least okay. So now that we but seriously, Artemis Starship Bridge Simulator. We're going to play a
Oh,
game soon.
I'm there. I'm convinced.
Yes.
If only
awesome.
Shakespeare wrote about procreation as though it were Star Trek, then more people would be having babies, I think.
So also just a quick side note. I got a piece of plexiglass on the wall behind me at work because I lean against the wall and it kept me from destroying the paint job.
Mm-hmm.
But also I can now write with dry erase markers just like on the wall.
It's magic, right?
Yeah, and I've had Shakespeare quotes have been my inspirational quotes for the entire 3 months or whatever that I've had it. I like write a new one every week or every other week, and I've done like some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. I've done tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day until the last syllable of recorded time. I did our doubts are our traitors, but I erased the measure for measure one today and wrote space, the final frontier.
Yes.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. What a great... How long do you think Patrick Stewart, like, rehearsed that? Do you think he wrote it out and did this kind of work with it? I mean, he came from Cicely Berry, right? He came from all the same people.
Yeah, I wonder. I do wonder about that. Like, all these great Shakespearean actors that we have, like, do they do this much work? Is Shakespeare actually this difficult, or are we just making a mountain out of a molehill?
I watched a bit of an interview with David Tennant today from when he played Richard II.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he finds the language incredibly difficult at the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean...
That's heartening.
Yeah, I mean... But, an hour and 20 minutes ago, I read these words and had no fucking idea what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
And after an hour of work, I finally have a sense of it, and like a thorough sense. Not just like a surface sense. I think I have a pretty thorough sense of what I'm trying to say if I'm saying this in my voice, right?
Yeah.
But that's an hour for 14 lines. Did we spend a little more time than is necessary? Like, maybe, I would argue not. But we also, we had, open discussion and deliberation about it. So when you're working on this by yourself, if our one viewer is an actor that's, like, working on Shakespeare to prepare, like, if you want to be the very best, then yeah, you do this for every single line you have, right? Yep. But you also have time in a preparation process and a rehearsal process to explore it more.
Right.
The baseline amount of work is required, right? Is what we're doing the baseline. Like, and that's me just asking you an opinion. That's not kind of like a redundant or a vague open question.
Like, is this the minimal amount of work that should be done when preparing for a Shakespearean role?
Yeah, or are we like, or is this overkill? I wouldn't call it overkill, right?
I wouldn't either. And I think, honestly, what we've done here is a little bit less than the base. I think, I was saying this on my stream yesterday, that one of the reasons I like analyzing sonnets is because I don't have to be so specific with it. For instance, I can say, for line 3, the line is, nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend. when it's a sonnet, I can very easily paraphrase to nature lends youth and beauty. But if it's a speech that I have to deliver to a a person who is listening to me in character, and we're both in character, I need to know what each word means in my own language. I would need to interpret Mother Nature's gift gives nothing, but it does give things temporarily. I would have to do each word. So I think what we've done here is just a little bit less than minimum amount of effort. And so yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but like look at my scripts. Like they're absolutely full. Like I would like to see some of these like big name. I want to see like David Tennant's scripts. I want to see Hiddleston's scripts. What do their speeches look like in the margins?
And that's, what's interesting too is also like, I do when I work on a like this, right? I would have done all this same work, and I probably would have like, but as far as the metaphors and the paraphrasing, I would keep that all to myself unless I really needed to write it. I don't often write that stuff out. I just like hammer it out in my head. And my scripts are often just like circles, arrows, and underline, right? Like, and like blocking. So.
No, and I generally do this. I don't do this in my scripts. What I'll do is I'll type it out, or I'll find an online version and I'll copy and paste it. I'll double space it, and then I print it out and then I handwrite. Or since I've basically gone paperless, here's where I've started to really look at little Richard over here. Here's my notes. No, wait. I've done a lot of work on this one. So this is what I'll do.
Is that a Comfort No Man Speak? Let's talk of graves.
This one is I know you all and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness.
Okay.
So I did have Richard up there, but I haven't done a whole lot of work on Richard yet. But as you can see here, I've done much more work on Hal's. And yeah, I've gone through and I've rewritten in my own words. And I've made notes in the margins. And I've asked questions in the margins. And that's basically what all my scripts look like too. They're maddeningly filled with doodles and paragraphs.
It's really strange. In the shows that we did this spring, how my Falstaff script was much too clean. But you know that like playing Falstaff was much just like an effort of having the words in my brain to say aloud. That was like because of the time of like directing Romeo and Juliet. But when I look at my As You Like It script versus my Romeo and Juliet script, As You Like It is marked up so much more.
Honestly, I think my As You Like It script is probably marked up more than Romeo and Juliet as well. And then Merry Wives is like the minimal amount of markings, I think.
And I wonder, did you just do less work on Merry Wives? Did you, because I know I did a ton of work on Merry Wives.
I think because Merry Wives, I don't think I had a single line in verse. So for me, Merry Wives was more about getting the accent and getting the motivation than figuring out what it is that I'm saying. It was pretty obvious, except for where the words intentionally didn't translate correctly into English from French.
Right, and
But
again about prose versus as opposed to verse. Um, with Falstaff, I had to do. You heard how that man speaks, not like anything else that I've ever had to perform ever. And
even in
so,
prose.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
prose. Where are you going?
Getting my scripts.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm gonna mute my mic as to not like kill you as I move back into my living room.
Do it. Yeah. Man, Mercutio is all over the show with his notes. Jake's also all over the place with notes. And he didn't really have a whole lot in verse either. Did he? No. He was a lot in verse. But he was like 50-50 probably. You want to see a script with not enough writing in it? You ought to see my script for Shrew. The only writing in my script for Shrew is blocking.
Yeah, like, oh man, I should pull out one of my old scripts.
Yeah.
And like
pre-Stella. Get yourself a pre-Stella script.
Yeah, hold on. I'll grab a pre-Stella script.
I wish I had even printed a Midsummer script. I don't think I even did that. Is that Caleb? Hello?
Well, who were you saying hello to? Me?
No, of course not.
Caleb?
Yeah.
Hal?
Definitely Caleb. Is Hal around too?
Dreams love animals.
Hi, Hal.
Immediately walks away.
Hi, buddy.
Hal doesn't like stream so much. Oh, hey, bub.
Aww. Puppy.
You're internet famous now. A whole one person maybe saw you. Maybe.
Aw. It's getting uploaded to YouTube, though, so... Are you wearing pants, Caleb? Alright, is this Taming? Is this Shrew?
No, this is, Merry Wives round 1. When I was Caius.
Prepare for some disappointment in yourself.
On the line, piece of your tongue, speak of your tail. I've got the note sharper at first. Is it maybe softer? Secondly,
Makes sense.
Sir Houston to you. I have the note, get everyone laughing.
With that line?
Yeah, rugby, belly me some paper, tarry you a little while, I cross to left bench.
All right, let's take a look at. I'm just gonna look at like my first line. See what I got. Okay, first off, remember how I told you I'm writing a little piece about a good cut of Shakespeare?
Yeah.
This is what inspired that. Gentle master mine, I am in all affected as yourself, glad that you thus continue your resolve to suck the sweets of sweet philosophy. My notes are, that's half of my little speech. Give cup back. Move back to right. I'm left of Lucentio. Close to downright Mike. I have absolutely nothing useful in this script. I should burn it.
Man, you know what's interesting? I also have my Cymbeline script from last summer here.
And you also have no notes in it?
I've also got no notes in it.
Sounds about right. Here's a Kimball line.
Kimball line.
I think I made pretty extensive notes in certain places because things just didn't make sense and I had to figure it out. Oh, I must have made them separately. But I know I looked at this monologue at the end, which was actually 3 monologues that they cut and pasted together. I had to look at that one really, really hard. I really do have minimal notes in here.
Yeah, but if I were to like...
But then certain places I have quite a bit. So... You know what I need to find? Worcester.
I was gonna say, if I went and found my Hotspur script, there would be a lot of things.
Like this. This is the normal amount of work for me.
Yeah.
And then here's me analyzing Hal's speech as another actor was giving it.
So wait, I'm gonna take a...
Between two mics. A Shakespeare on the Square story.
I'm gonna give this sonnet a read, number 4.
Yes, give it a read.
And then I'm gonna wrap up my portion of the stream for the night. Do you have the notes that we used to pass? Yeah, that's my handwriting.
Yeah. It's Falstaff. Okay. Go on, give it a read. Sonnet 4.
Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend, and being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largess given thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self, dost deceive, Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tuned with thee, which used lives the executor to be.
How did that feel reading it the second time?
It felt a lot better. It felt a lot easier. It didn't, it's like the cold read is like trudging through it.
Yeah.
This is like nice. That like it felt comfy. I felt like I had 2 or 3 real nice moments.
It sounded a little more honest that time for sure. Which is what you want, isn't it?
Yeah,
Honesty.
mean, like, it felt like like I said, there were a few times where I felt like I was just saying a thought, and I was thinking. I wasn't thinking about like what am I saying, what am I reading here. I was thinking about. I was thinking about like instead of reading it, I was like manufacturing it, like putting it together.
Yeah.
As Sir Ian says in playing Shakespeare, it's like connecting this to this and like getting it here, right? I felt like I was motivated to speak because it's like like in debate club where you have to debate an issue, maybe even if you don't like agree with it. Like, I don't think procreation is like necessary.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. Like, but I can argue it with Shakespeare's words.
You know what I think you should do? You should just Tyler Tasaki say this to me.
Are you the person that I'm chiding?
Mm-hmm. But just say it, just have a, like how we're talking right now. Just have a conversation about it.
Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend, and being frank, she lends to those who are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largess given to thee? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self, dost deceive. Then, how when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee, which used lives the executor to thee.
Interesting. Absolutely meaningless. It's weird. Man. Anything else of note about this? About your reading? About anything about this sonnet?
I don't know. I like having done what we've, laid out as like the bare minimum. It's weird how when you do the bare minimum, all of a sudden you want to do a lot more.
Yeah, I definitely want to go through, because I haven't actually read this out loud yet in its entirety. I want to feel all of the letters. I want the mouthfeel of the piece.
Well, thanks for having me on the stream.
Thanks for streaming with me.
Yeah.
I did Sonnet 3 by myself last week, and it was It was interesting.
Well, do you want to do? Are we working on the big podcast tomorrow?
Are we? I don't have that on my board. I have the eight. Is tomorrow the 18th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I have at 7. We're having a production meeting.
Yeah, and probably a test stream. We're doing like the same thing we did last week. Do you have any overlays?
So if you look at my stream, we could do something like this. But it depends on. This is an overlay, so like I could move that however we want, but I don't know what our video situation is going to look like.
Well, this is almost exactly the concept sketch that I sent to you like the first time, right?
Yeah.
So, like, exactly this would make me happy, and you taking notes is fine with me. Like, it doesn't have to be my notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you do a good job. Like, I think when you and I are working with somebody instead of us working with each other, that you do a good job of writing down the things that I'm noting too, right? And I can say something like, hey, will you underline all those alliterations or something?
Yeah.
But like something basically just like this. Only, for when it's me and you would put our names under us.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I want to see about. I guess I need to see that tomorrow. See how our setup's gonna look, so I can see where do we put names, where do we put the 7030 logo, all that jazz.
So we'll look at that tomorrow. But thanks again for having me on the stream.
Yeah.
And we'll be probably live from 7030 Creative's account tomorrow.
Yep. And we're doing All the World's a Stage, right? We're looking at that.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. You know what? I'm gonna leave my Jake's script out.
Yeah, I'll get my Stella notes.
All right. So, I guess that's enough Shakespeare for the next up to 45 minutes. Bye.
Bye.